The best thing about swimming is that you can learn at any age. I've taught complete beginners at ages 20 all the way up to 50, and I've coached masters and open water champions of all ages. I believe swimming is a lifetime sport where everyone can enjoy it from a very young age all the way till we're old and gray. Now let me guide you to a step-by-step structured, tried and tested method to help you learn from scratch to smooth freestyle. Starting with the basics, we need to be comfortable breathing, and that takes us to bubbles. Taking a breath in through the mouth and exhaling through the nose is the way to go. A couple of things to note. You don't have to take a huge breath of air, and you don't have to exhale all the air out of the lungs. The second point is you shouldn't hold all your breath while you take it in. We want to keep things smooth and breathing consistently, mimicking how we breathe in our day-to-day lives almost. Once we get the bubbles down, we turn to floating. Floating is a great way to start the kicking position. Note that not everyone floats the same. You need to take a huge breath of air, look down, and relax your body. Keep repeating until your heels pop out of the surface of the water. From this position, we will start kicking. In kicking, we have 4 unspoken rules. The kick originates from the hip flexors. The power of the kick comes from the quads. The kick has to be continuous and narrowish. Wide kicks won't work. The knee bends naturally without actually wanting to bend it. After we do a couple of kicking laps and make sure that we can move fine and managing a continuous breathing pattern, we now move to a skill that 99% of the coaches don't actually teach, which is the sculling. I believe that the sculling is the true intro to doing strokes. It teaches us how the water really feels and when we apply pressure, and that we need to apply pressure with the hands and the wrists. We will do 30 fast and strong reps to really start getting the burn in the hands and the wrists. Note that the hands should be under the surface of the water. Doing sculling on the surface won't work because you're actually pushing air. We will do a couple of laps kicking while taking the breath through sculling, and then we move on to the strokes. I teach the strokes on 3 phases. It is the pull, the exit, and the recovery. We can further dissect it into catch, EVF, mid-pull, push, or finish, and the recovery. For the strokes, we want to start pulling or catching the water just underneath the surface, and we want to finish the stroke till the very end. As for the arm recovery, the part where our hands are out of the water, we want to keep it relaxed and controlled. They call it recovery because this is how our arms return to the starting point and start a new stroke. And this is also the phase where our arms get a small rest. We will start moving with the board and working with one stroke at a time. We need to learn and master the side breath on its own. We can do a couple of laps with the board and then practice without the board and take the breath through sculling. Once we have that mastered, we can move to the most important skill ever. I believe that the side breath is the most important skill and the most difficult to master. Why is it important? Because this is our continuous supply to oxygen. Why is it difficult? Because it's very time sensitive. If you miss the timing, you risk injury, having a weaker stroke, and overall getting slower as you swim. We will start with some basics, practicing it on the wall. We also have some rules for the side breath. The first one is you don't want to lift the head to breathe. The side breath is taken within the body rotation. The second, you want to keep the back of your head very close to your arm. The third, you want to take a breath, and the breath has to be very quick. Number 4, when swimming, you don't want the front arm to drop down when you're breathing. We will then practice moving with the board and breathing on one side only. And then no board. And the key point here is that we have to reach with the front arm forward to allow the body to rotate and take a smoother side breath. This can be very challenging at first, and it needs very strong kicks. You can use fins and it's going to make it a bit easier. To start putting it together, don't rush to swim fast. You want to start swimming catch by catch. The catch by catch or the catch-up drill can be the best drill for you if you want to build something called FQS, which stands for front quadrant swimming, which is perfect for open water swimming as it is very energy efficient. To wrap up, we talked about several steps to take you from bubbles to freestyle. Number 1 was the bubbles, number 2 was the floating, number 3 was kicking, number 4 was sculling, number 5 was strokes, number 6 was side breath, number 7 was catch by catch. In the strokes and side breath area, you would want to do a lot of drills to improve all the phases of the strokes, which you'll find several videos on my channel for just that.